Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is episode 483 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Derpy.
Morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Gentlemen.
Oh,
you asked a question before we went on. Why does time go so fast when you're in a hurry and it's so slow when you're not? I have another question.
uh-huh.
You know how they have these Mandela effects now with
Yeah,
the all the everything. I mean, you've seen what I'm talking about, these Mandela effects. Um,
yeah.
Tell me now. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. I'm almost certain that at some point in my life, the word a lot, like a lot of
Yes.
candy, it at one point in my life was ALOT. It wasn't two separate words at one point in my
No,
life.
yeah. Yeah. It changed on us, and I don't like
It
that.
did change on us, Mike. And you know what? You're one of the only people that agrees with me. Everybody that I talk to about this always say, no, it's always been A and then
Mm-mm.
LOT. It used to be ALOT. Guess what's another one that's not a word anymore? All right. All
Yeah.
right. In my life, at one point, it used to be ALRIGHT. One word. All
Yep.
right. It's not a word anymore, Mike. It's all ALL and then right. These
No.
this is like real live Mandela effect shit. And I swear that it used to be a lot was one word and all right was one word.
You know what? I'm always a big proponent on, language changes, but I hate that. I hate this right here because a lot was always, like you said, it was a lot.
Yes,
Now
it was
it's
one word.
now it's two. And then ain't. I grew up ain't wasn't a word. You don't use ain't. Now everyone uses ain't.
Yeah. I think people just come to accept that ain't was we're gonna
Yeah.
use ain't because
Yeah.
why not? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody.
Like
But,
I
but these other words, Mike, at some point
no,
in history, it
no,
got changed, and they're not a lot and all right anymore.
no, no,
They just don't exist.
no. Don't
I
change the spelling on me. I'm a terrible speller. Don't change the spelling on me. You can make up new words. I love, different geographic regions. They come up with new words and it becomes part of the American language. I like that. But don't change the spelling on me. Because once I get it down, I can't.
dude,
No, don't mess with the spelling with me. Okay. You can make up any new
again,
words
I,
you
I don't
want. I'm for it. Just change the spelling of the old words.
I don't gamble, but if I was a gambling man, I would say that those were words at one point in my life. A lot, ALOT, and all right, ALRIGHT. Neither one of
Mm-hmm.
them are words. If you type them, people look at you like you have three fucking heads. I don't understand if this was were they changed? Is this a Mandela effect? I don't know, but those words do not exist anymore, which blows my mind. I
Were
went
we
through
wrong?
we either were wrong or we're just really fucking stupid. And the thing is, we
You know
can't
what?
be.
You know what? It could be both.
It could be both, but on the other hand, I mean, come on. I mean, I'm 45 years old and I've been spelling a lot and all right my whole life. I'm pretty sure that these were
Uh,
words at one point spelled this way.
I'm in a total agreement with you.
I don't like this. These other Mandela effects. I don't care about the Bernstein Bears and how they
No, yeah,
spell their
but no,
name, but
but spelling
these
of a lot and all right.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, Derpy.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
I don't get it. I was wrong yesterday. I received the wrong report as I was going on air yesterday about Mike
Yeah,
McCarthy.
yeah,
Somebody told me before I was going on air, like he got fired, and I said that, but he's not. He's returning for
yeah,
2024. I just want to
yeah.
make that clear.
Yeah, I
Um,
caught that. I did a double take and I looked, and it was like reports of is he or is he not coming back? And I think later on in the show or after the show, it was he was coming back.
yeah, so that was wrong. It was incorrect. Mike McCarthy will be back in 2024 with the Cowboys. I did want to make that clear. Also, gentlemen, today will be Mike Tomlin's season-ending press conference. This is at noon. So as soon as our show goes off the air, you can tune over and turn on the Mike Tomlin press conference to see what he has to say for his final season-ending press conference, guys.
I want him to come out and be like, I am signing a 3-year extension and cut to Art Rooney going, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
gonna be an interesting press conference.
we will talk about that more tomorrow as we find out the
Yep.
content of everything that's in
Yeah.
it. Also, guys, 98 days from today is the NFL draft. So
I am ready.
we have the playoffs, we have the Super Bowl, a little spring football, and then it'll be draft time. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what moves we're going to make. I can't wait till the free agent day. I can't wait to see what Omar Khan and company
Yep.
has up their sleeve after his first season GM in this Pittsburgh Steelers team, what he did everything to go into last year, how the season played out,
Yeah.
and then to see what their next move is. That ultimately defines you is how you respond to things.
Yeah.
So I am very, very curious to see how this offseason goes. I'm really excited. There changes will be made. I mean, changes were made after he first got into the position. Now, of course, after the season and things that went down the way they went down, guys, things are going to change some more. So very exciting time. If your team is out of the playoffs, this is something that you do look forward to. And we do enjoy that on this show. Mike is the draft guy. He gets heavily.
I've already started looking into like salary cap. I don't understand the salary, like all the different ramifications, but there are websites you can go around, plug in and play with all the numbers and see what you can come up with. So I'm looking forward. I'm already digging into that.
Mike takes us very seriously when
I
it
love
comes
the
to draft time.
Oh.
He's hard to even communicate with because he's so involved. He's so invested in the draft. That excites me here at the show, and that makes things better. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, but shout out to Derpy. He's the one all off season who said Keanu Benton. Keanu Benton. He's the one who called you Derpy. You did. I was looking at someone like later in the draft, like Mora Ojimo from Texas last year, and that big fat guy, the big mountain of a man, Sika Ika from Baylor. But you're the one all the entire draft process kept saying Keanu Benton, Keanu Benton, Keanu Benton. And props, my man, props.
Say what you want about Derpy.
He hit Keanu Benton.
Derpy will hit a home run every now and then. And that's
he didn't want Joey Porter Jr. because he went to Penn State, but
you guys have this weird little college thing going on, and I get that. Yeah, you do. With your Penn
I
State.
love Larry Fitz. I love Aaron Donald. I love Clay Cansey.
Cansey was actually on my board as well.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Kansas had a great night the other night. I'd keep an eye on him moving forward. let me break into a couple of these things real quick before we continue with our Steelers. The Whippeal Hall of Fame here in Western Pennsylvania, they're in their class of 2024. Tyler Boyd from Clareton obviously plays with the Bengals, and I think would be a great choice to have on our team next year as he goes into free agency. And Mount Lebo, Bob Shilkin, he also went to Pitt. Both of these gentlemen went on to play at Pitt and then had careers in the NFL. They both are in the 2024 Whippeal Hall of Fame, guys. So
well deserved.
Absolutely. While I'm on this subject, go ahead, Mike.
Boyd, especially Tyler Boyd. I'm not a big fan that he's on the Bengals, but I'm a big fan of Tyler Boyd.
Aliquippa appeal goes unsuccessful.
Oh, who would have thought?
They're still ticketed for 5A. I think this is a crime. I think they have a lot of support here, especially at home in Beaver County and in the Western Pennsylvania area. Aliquippa's appeal, they have the class size for a single A football team. They are being played up into 5A for what is it called, Mike? Competitive equality,
competitive balance.
This is a crime. The guys in Aliquippa don't seem to care. They're like, you know what, bring it on. We're going to go ahead and we're going to win the gold in 5A as well. But I think just as an outsider looking at it, you're really seeing how this team is getting screwed. And maybe that's the mindset you're going to have as a football team. We're going to take whatever they bring us. And you know what? They're probably going to do very well. But everybody else could sit back and say, you know what? You're really screwing these guys. 5A, you could continue to bring troops. It's like basically China going to war with Jamaica. You know what I mean?
Wave after wave after wave.
After wave after wave after wave. Players and Aliquippa's playing their guys both ways all game. It's a crime. Rob Matsey, one of the politicians here in Pennsylvania, is voicing his opinion, and hopefully something is done to justify all this. Again, if they want to go to 5A and compete, and if they can win it all, good for them. But again, I come on, it's not right. You're penalizing this team. Mm-hmm. They're being punished for being good. And come on, where in sports is that acceptable? When you're good, you're good. When you're the top, you're the top. You accept it. And as I always say, if it's the other parents around the valley, around Whitfield, make your kids train harder. That's the only answer to this. If not, they're not going to be as good as this team. You don't ship and chase this team out of the conference and put it somewhere that's unfair to them, because there's nothing unfair that's happening when they're beating your kids. The fact of the matter is they're just better. They're working harder. They have a better mentality. Whatever it is, coaching, you can't keep punishing this group of kids. It's bad. It's just not a good look overall. No. And especially on the other side of the state, when you can't bump Southern Columbia up from 2A after they won 7 straight state championships. And St. Joe's, they have kids from every state in the nation playing on this team. Come on,
they're not transfers, but Tyke Hayes is a transfer,
and Tyke Hayes has been a starter since his freshman season, which is crazy. We talked to Mike Warfield on a show last week, and he had said that. He said, Tyke's been here from day one. I don't know where they get this information. So it's almost as the PIAA is out to get them.
They are.
Not right, man.
The last time they had to appeal, they brought back I think like Ty Law or Darrell Rivas came back and spoke in their favor. And even then they were just like, nah.
Yeah, but yet
you get a Hall of Famers to speak on your behalf. It's like, hey, give these kids, be fair to these kids. And
you have Hall of Famers, you have politicians, you have everybody from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But yet, one way it works, the other way it doesn't. You don't touch Southern Columbia.
We're gonna punish this small town,
right?
It's just a joke.
That's where I'm at with that, guys. Let's get into some Steeler talk. Former Pitt quarterback Alex Van Pelt, who was fired from his offensive position on the Browns after the Browns game. His name is being connected to the Steelers OC job. I just hope that the Steelers don't take somebody just to take somebody. I want them to really go out and do
a search,
and do right for this team and get the right guy and get a guy that you want to have, on your team for, a period of time, long term, and a guy that you feel confident will be able to do something with this team and make it better. Again, somebody like Van Pelt, these names that keep popping up, I'm losing my mind because you don't want them here. No, you don't want them. I mean, Cleveland, their defense was their bread and butter.
Yep.
You come in with a Super Bowl winning quarterback. This team lays an egg in the playoffs. They get blown out. Their offense does absolutely nothing. The guy gets fired. Yeah, bring him here. Come on. He was a Brown coach, for crying out loud. We don't want him, Mike.
You take a look at someone from off the Texans offense, off the San Francisco 49ers offense. So some of those dynamic offenses that, we have the players here that can run that type of offense. Steelers, we need to get to a modern offense. Yeah. That doesn't mean you abandon the run, but 3 yards in a cloud of dust and throwing on third down doesn't work. Okay, it really hasn't worked since the 90s. We don't be afraid to modernize and do a big search, like Ryan said, for the offensive coordinator. Last offseason, it took how long to officially name Omar Khan? Yes, he was in-house, but yet they went outside. They interviewed a bunch of different people, and look what that led to. That led to Andy Weidel being added to the staff, and he brought in those ideas from Philly to, him and Omar Khan were very aggressive in free agency and in the draft, and that paid off. Do that with the offensive coordinator. You never know who you're going to meet, and then who you're going to meet from meeting someone else down the line. Like, oh, this person, hey, we might not like this guy, but he mentioned someone else that we should look into. You look into that person, you might find the diamond in the rough.
So I think people get scared by the term you use when you say, a more modern offense. People need to understand is we ran a modern offense for 20 seasons. I mean, it isn't like when people hear this, they think,
everyone thinks Pittsburgh should just run the ball, run the ball.
And that's not the case. And I don't think that people think that. But what they got to understand is we have ran a modern offense for 2 decades, and you need the right personnel, Mike. We don't have the right personnel.
Like when you had Ben Brown, AB, Heath Miller, that was a modern offense.
Anything that Ben was involved with, within that exception of that first year, where they told him just protect the ball, and he ended out going and exceeding that and doing great things.
Yeah,
Mike, I just you have to have the right personnel. Again, you can't give this group that we have here and say go out and be a good modern offense. It's not going to happen. You need your quarterback. You need you need the right guys. So there's a lot that still needs to be done with this team to move forward.
But it has to start with that offensive coordinator.
Absolutely. This is big, Mike. This is big this year. Whether, and as I said the other day, they're looking within to fill that offensive coordinator role. Look how great the Matt Canada experiment went.
But I wouldn't be opposed. These guys were still running Matt Canada's offense because you're not going to change it mid-season. And we saw they had some results, so I wouldn't be opposed. Do your research though. Do your due diligence. But if you decide, hey, we're going to let Eddie Faulkner and his offense is better than what Matt Canada has, I'd be okay with that because they ran Matt Canada's offense. They ran it better than him. But if Eddie Faulkner maybe he has a mind for a nice passing attack mixed with a nice balanced running attack, you don't know. But all we saw was what they had to run with that old thing. But just go outside first. Look. Or say, hey, you know what? You're going to be our offensive coordinator, but guess what? We're going to get you a passing game coordinator. We're going to get you a run game coordinator who are younger, not just younger, but have, let's say, someone who has different ideas too, and build your staff that way to where
whatever we
you
just
hire a guy
done
in-house, but
for the
hire
last
people
2
outside
years,
to work under
the last
them.
5 years,
It hasn't worked.
they need to take it, they need to wrinkle it up,
Yep.
and they need to throw it out because
Yep.
it hasn't worked. Everything that this team has done in the past 2 seasons, it just abort.
No.
Stop because you stink. Everything that they've
Yeah.
done in the past 2 seasons stunk. You know what? Take Matt
time to
Canada, everything
evolve.
he never did, throw it out. Get new people in here. You need fresh faces. This isn't even a thing of going back to a non-modern time. This is a thing of just playing and coaching and,
Yep.
and strategizing bad football, top to bottom. You have to
Money.
get in there. You got to clean house. If you're not going to get rid of your coach, which they're not going to just yet, you still have to go and dig around and find other ways to eliminate things and abort all the things that hasn't worked to this point, because it's all leading to the same result season after season after season. And the only person that's coming out of this smelling like roses is the head coach, who's going to be able to walk away at the end of the day and say, you know what? I never had a losing season in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, which is funny. Like we never hear him say that, but everyone wants to say it for him or against him, which I always find funny. The man's never said it himself. He's talked about the playoff loss. Is that how that's his baggage, not the team?
Unless he's an alien, I can't think of a human being that wouldn't have that thought.
What do you want to have? But at least he's not.
I'm very successful. I have never had a losing season. I think that the human nature would.
Human nature. But I do want to give him credit for not like lashing out to me to say I haven't had a losing season. He hasn't used that crutch, because once you start using that as a crutch in public, you're done. But oh god, Rooney needs to spend more money on these coordinators. His dad, when his dad was running the team, they spent money on coordinators. I don't know why Art II doesn't want to spend money on coordinators.
I'm going to tell you why, Mike.
And we have one of the smallest coaching staffs too.
We don't have any money, and here's why. Our Steelers defense, guys, they're set to spend $142,193,493 next year on this defense. On this defense, Mike, that has over and over and over in important games allowed a lot of points, a lot of drives downfield, has been unable to produce turnovers when needed, unable to produce the big play, unable to get to Josh Allen, unable to listen. This, as I said, 142 plus million, which is the second in the most on a defense. So you figure you're spending the second most in the whole NFL on your defense. This defense should be pretty stout. This should be a Cleveland Browns type defense that we've seen this year. However, more than half of that amount of money that I just said, which equals $74.2 million, and 31% is eaten up by 3 players. TJ Watt, 30.4 million. Cam Hayward, 22.4 million, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, 21.4 million. Between those 3 guys is 31% of the money paid to your second highest paid defense in the league. The fact that Cam Hayward made a half of a play in this playoff game, the fact that Minkah made no plays in this playoff game, and the fact that TJ Watt didn't even play in this playoff game, it's ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about. Changes need to be made. We can't go on keep saying, guys, we have Cam Hayward. No, you don't. Cam Hayward stinks. Listen, say what you want. Agree with us. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. This guy stinks. When it comes down to it, he shouldn't be part of this 31% of the defense, of the money that's going into this defense. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. You could get somebody who plays a lot harder and you could pay a lot less money. I do think of the 3, Minkah is probably right around the range that he should be. This season, he didn't make the plays that he should have made, but you know what? The past 3-4 seasons, however long he's been here since he came from Miami, he has made those plays. I don't have a problem with Minkah Fitzpatrick. He was hurt. I tend to give him a little bit of slack. Cam,
kind of like Watt last year, how he was hurt. That's a wash. Same thing with Minka. It's a wash this year.
TJ Watt, guys. All right, he's going to get you 19 sacks a season, but on the other hand, I mean,
Run
come
right
on,
at him. Run at him.
Run at him. He's not the player that, again, for the money that we're paying this defense, for the money that these guys are getting paid of the percentage of that, it's criminal. You got to make changes, even if it's going to hurt a little bit, even if it's going to hurt, and you got to get rid of Cam, who's come on, he's not a young kid anymore. And TJ, come on, at some point it's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings by saying stuff like this. But guys, yes, the 19 sacks is pretty, it's fun, it's eye candy to the football fan. But at the end of the day, where was TJ Watt when it mattered? At the end of the day, where was TJ Watt in week 1 when San Francisco's running right at him? Where was TJ Watt through the whole season when people were running right at him? 19 sacks is fantastic. Who doesn't want a guy that has 19 sacks? But I also want a guy
with the full package.
It's as he was earlier on in his career. Whether he's getting older and he's tending to lay off a little bit, I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if he just doesn't want to get hurt like he used to. But the guy is not the same. No. Big changes have to be made. You can't go on, Mike. You want to get a nice offensive coordinator? All your money's going to these 3 guys on defense who ain't doing anything. This is what I'm saying. We need changes. We need big time changes. We know right now it's not going to be Tomlin this season. We have to stick this one out. We have to stick this one out. Brian on the board. Good morning. But you know what? Come on. At the end of the day, these are the harsh realities of this Pittsburgh Steelers team. When you want to fix this team and make it better, these are the things that you have to look at.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know why people get. I know Brian's just messing around with us, but Steeler fans get really offended. Like if you do question Minka Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, these guys have won nothing in the league. They've won 0 championships. Look across town. Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Letang, they are criticized heavily. You remember when they won their first Stanley Cup and then they went that long drought without it? They were vilified. They were called bust and waste. You're a bust. You only won 1 Stanley Cup. Now they won back-to-back. They won 3, and they're still criticized that they need to do more. But TJ Watt can't be criticized. Cam Hayward can't be criticized. Minka Fitzpatrick can't be criticized. These guys haven't even won a playoff game. Come on, you know what? You're making all this money. The standard is you're the highest paid players on the team. You deserve criticism.
We need an ugly guy. And Mike, listen to this. This is what we.
I'm a beautiful man.
This is why the Watt situation stinks. It's because he's a handsome guy. Let me tell you, if this guy was ugly and this guy had an attitude problem, people would have no problem giving him shit. The guy comes out looking like a fucking god, for crying out loud. I'm not gay, and not that there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, he's a very likable image. There's something that
they're likable guys.
There's something that people don't want to turn on him because you know what? He's the package. He's the total package. He comes here, he plays good football. He's a leader. He's a strong leader. He speaks up. He is very handsome. As I say again, I'm not gay, but it is what it is. People, this attracts people just without them even thinking it. If he was like I said, if he was an ugly guy and he had a big festering wound on his face,
they'd be all over him.
People would be all over him, and they'd be like, you know what? I don't care if he gets 19 sacks. He's not
can't
producing.
Stop the run.
Get him out of here. Let's get somebody else in here.
Well, here's the funny thing. Dan Moore Jr. was a 4th round pick, thrown in to start left tackle. He is held to a higher standard than our all pros, our highest paid players. Like if you want to, people want to micromanage Dan Moore's every single snap, but yet they don't want to micromanage, Cam Hayward's snaps because he'll end up having 2 or 3 good games throughout a year and inflated stats. It's just weird. Like we hold lower round draft picks, fringe players to a higher standard than we do our stars.
It's
I want my stars to produce game in, game out. That's why I'm critical of them. This
guy's 6 foot tall and he has 5.5 foot long legs. Chicks think he's good looking. He's odd shaped. And the reason and the backstory to this is I produced Brian's show at the radio station, and he was talking about a girl who made a comment on a comment that he made. He made a comment about TJ Watt, and some girl came on and says, "Why are you messing with my boyfriend?" And the comment he made was, "Why is he just so weird shaped? His legs are 98% of his body." And this is what she was talking about. It was nothing to do with his play. And again, this is another reason. Well, don't get rid of TJ. TJ Watt is great. TJ Watt has 19 sacks. You can stop at that. You really can. And
he's become one-dimensional.
And these other numbers, guys, as we go on, and I'm going to get into this PFF thing in a minute because this has come
Oh,
up as well. You know, between those guys that from the beginning of the year, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, these are the guys that are spoon fed to you in your face constantly. These guys are the best guys on defense. They're really not. Look around the league. There's a guy that had 185 tackles this year. There's a guy that had 7 interceptions. There's guys that are doing so many things on defense. In the argument as well, the guys playing on this side of the line, they only have this part of the field. These other guys, Landon Roberts, in my opinion, had a better year on defense than TJ Watt did. He's all over the place. He's sideline to sideline. This guy is making plays. He comes back from being injured and he's making more plays. It's again, we're being spoon fed bullshit.
you got what? Chris Jones down in who's it? Chris Jones or God, I forget the D tackle for the Chiefs. That dude was a beast. He had a hell of a year. Ed Oliver had a hell of a year as an inside tackle that we just saw up in Buffalo. So there's a lot of like defensive tackles that get lost in the shuffle, and like a lot of inside backers that are just tackling machines.
Or who's the rookie?
They don't have the sexy. The sack is the sexy number. That's like the home run in baseball. It's the sexy number.
This is why TJ Watt is Superman in Pittsburgh, is because he's good at the sexy number.
But he can be a game changer. He one or two splash plays a game that he can come out of nowhere and make. But it's like the consistent stuff, stopping the run, setting the edge, not running yourself out of the play.
And you won't need the splash play if guys like him would play more consistent through the course of the game. When we're playing Cleveland and early in the season and that ball gets punched out and that craziness happens, maybe you don't need that to happen if your guy would have played more consistent and stopped them throughout the game. So, I'm sorry.
I was going to say his defensive player of the year that year he won, he was the complete linebacker. He was setting the edge. He was defending the run. He was getting the sacks. He was making the forced fumbles, the strip plays. He was playing well in coverage. Then last year he got hurt, and then this year he's been a totally different player. It's like he doesn't trust himself anymore to be that complete player. I don't know what changed. I don't know if that injury changed the way he felt. He had to play.
Another thing, how old is TJ Watt now?
He's like 30, I think.
30-ish, give or take.
29. So yeah, he'll be 30
in this
couple
for freaking 7 years. He's only 20. It seems like he should be in his 30s, but Pat Pete, a lot of people, he took a lot of heat this year because he's getting older. He's only 32 years old. TJ Watt is he's in that age group, guys. So
he's getting there.
Again, we don't want to keep him around just because he's a name, just because he puts up some pretty points and gets the again, yes, 19 sacks is very impressive. Very, very impressive. No two ways about it. But again, if you could somehow morph back into something where we're not getting killed off the right-hand side of the, whenever teams run against us on plays that they run inside, he's too much outside. When teams run outside, he gets stuck on the inside. He's lost a step, guys. Again, I mean, yes, if he makes the conscious effort to improve, that's one thing. But again, if this is what you're going to get from TJ moving forward as he becomes another year older, moving forward, guys, I don't know. That's a lot of money. Again, those three gentlemen, Minka, Cam, TJ, 31% of the second highest paid defense in the whole entire league. Those three guys are sponging up over 30% of the money.
And you look at their playoff stats. Like, I don't know if I mentioned all their stats yesterday, but they're not impressive at all. They disappear in the biggest games. And that's not what you want from your highest paid players.
Who was consistent in the playoffs? Landon Roberts. The guy was in, every play that you expect him to be in, he was there from one sideline to the other sideline. This is the kind of guy that you need. You need players, you need ballers, you need gamers. And from what I see from the past couple of seasons, yes, one more time, I'm going to say it, 19 sacks is pretty and attractive. But peel back the layers on this onion and see what's deep inside, because you're not getting the production out of this linebacker that you should be. And there's other guys in this league that would play better. They're not going to get you 19 sacks. But again, you may win more games by their consistent play, and you might do better in the playoffs. So TJ is just, in my opinion, he's not the guy anymore. No, but I'm just one person. So
I agree with you. I love TJ Watt. I think he's a damn good player, but he's not who he was 2 years ago.
No,
he's not. And That it happens. You age out. Not everyone can be like an ageless wonder and keep playing like you're seeing over across the street with Sidney Crosby. But no one can be. Those guys are outliers of outliers, and TJ's. I don't know. He's lost his explosiveness, is what it looks like. Because he was never the strongest, but he was always very explosive off the line, and it looked like this year he lost like that explosive burst that he once had.
Let me tell you again a little bit about how delusional that one of these three players are. Cam Hayward goes on to say, I think we've got to be healthy. Not having TJ, a lot of guys, they really jumped. Okay, so here's what he says. He goes,
okay,
but we have a core that's very strong and can make some noise in the playoffs. I just think there's more football to be played for our group.
I don't.
So this is the same person who thinks that Mike Tomlin's doing a great job. This is the same person who thinks that this defense is great. This is the same person who thinks that he fits in the same category as Aaron Donald when you're talking about best defensive tackles in the league. So we have, there's many issues on the Steeler team that need
delusions of grandeur might be the top.
Come on, Cam Hayward, he's number one. He's guilty as anybody. Come on. As I said, he gets 2 tackles most of the time in big games. He's considered one of the best. He's not disruptive.
No.
When was the last time you seen him bust through and even make Josh Allen uncomfortable in the backfield?
No.
You're the guy. You're the guy that's getting paid $22.4 million, and you're making no noise in that backfield. This is what I'm saying. There's guys out there that will. And you see these guys week to week when you watch football games, and they're making these big plays.
Yep.
And they're not getting paid anywhere as near as him, but he gets 2 tackles because he fell on a guy in the fourth quarter.
Like here's Cam Hayward. We're gonna break him down in his playoff appearances. In 2011, he had 4 tackles, not bad, 0 sacks. And 2014, 2 tackles. 2015, 1 tackle and a sack. Way to show up. 2017, the year that Jacksonville ran all over his ass and Stephon Tuitt's ass. 1 tackle. 2020, 1 tackle. 2021, he had 4 tackles, 2 solo. And then this year he had 6 tackles, 4 solo. But do you remember any of those plays?
No.
You remember the one in Kansas City because it led to a touchdown. That's it. That's it.
Where I got screwed up is my own handwriting. I'm sorry. Let me start just what I was saying. This is what Cam said. I think we got to be healthy. Not having TJ, a lot of guys banged up this season. I write like a 4-year-old, so I did. I messed that up. So this is what Cam Hayward is referring
use injuries
to
as an excuse.
This is what he's referring to. If TJ Watt would have been in this game, we would have won. Which the football game that I seen,
no,
and then I have on DVR, and I'll watch probably a few more times. Nothing indicates to me if TJ Watt would have been in that game, we would have won that football game.
No, because I agree because we watched Cleveland in that second game against us with a healthy defense. They marched right down the field with a third string quarterback with ease. They marched down the field, kick game-winning field goal, game over. What makes you think Josh Allen want to keep marching down the field? We've seen TJ Watt and Cam Hayward led defenses get passed and ran all over in the playoffs. There's the evidence is not there to say if Watt was there in this playoff game, this defense would have stepped up because they haven't when they've been in the playoffs. The record speaks for itself. Averaging 35 points against in the playoffs under this group. That's not a good core to have there, Cam. That's not a good number to have.
Also, in this Steeler football team, only 2 NFL coaches in the last 50 years. Take a minute and let this sink in. Only 2 NFL coaches in the last 50 years have playoff losing streaks with one team of 5 games or more. Okay? Only 2 NFL head coaches in the last 50 years have playoff losing streaks with one team of 5 games or more. Marvin Lewis and Mike Tomlin.
Oh.
Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. However, his playoff coaching it's really bad. I mean, really bad. And I'm not just saying this because they lost. We threw numbers out there yesterday. Mike, I don't have the paper in front of me.
Yeah.
But you remember the amount of points that we've given up for 5 last.
It was like
those aren't football games.
Going into this one in the past 3 games, playoff games, it was 135 points. I do want to say, though, Big Ben at the end of his career was 5-8 in the playoffs. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I noticed that in my research.
Man, I wish we had a good coach. He might have been a great quarterback.
Well, he
I mean, look,
he had some of those games where he threw for more picks than touchdowns, or the same amount of picks and touchdowns.
You know what everybody does. Nobody's perfect.
I know. I just want to throw it out there for context.
And for the offensive side of the ball, while we're on it, Steelers had the 28th ranked offense this year, Mike. That's tied for the worst rank in their team history. The lowest they've ever finished.
He didn't break a record. We could have done worse, baby.
They've never done worse than what they did this season at the end of the year with their offensive rank. 28th is the worst in the history of this team.
So you're saying we haven't hit rock bottom yet? We could go lower. That's what I'm hearing.
We got Tomlin for another season, Mike.
You mean another? We're gonna have him for another 4, baby. He's getting ready to sign a 3-year extension.
Well, let me put some light on this, guys. Let me. All right, Mike Tomlin. Mike, you got the package that I sent you for the game, right?
Yes.
All right. If you want to start working on that, all right, guys. Somebody in Pittsburgh on the South Side made a mural of Mike Tomlin. Let's spread some light, okay? And they made this mural, and it was an artist. I don't know who it was. Bless their soul. They made this mural. What's that?
They tried.
They made this mural of Mike Tomlin down on the South Side, and Mike has a copy of the picture. He's going to put it up. I just want everyone to take a look. Obviously, on the podcast, you're not going to be able to see this, but on the show live right now, Mike, let's take a look at Mike's picture. Take a look up at Mike's video. Derpy, are you still alive?
Yes, I'm here.
Take a look up on Mike's picture on our right, his left. This is what somebody painted to honor Mike Tomlin. What is that?
When I first saw that, I'm like, that's not Coach T.
Everyone, if you go through these comments, like on the news page where I got this, the comments are hilarious. I mean, there's no regard for the artist at all. They're just going on about how bad this picture is. A lot of people saying it looks like Ben. A lot of people saying if Ben and Tomlin had a baby, this would be their baby.
Oh my God, it does.
Yeah. But take a look, everybody. Take a real close look. Take a moment, if you will. If this isn't a good
this is a bad omen.
Yeah, but
this is how you know you're struggling. You've been struggling in the playoffs. Like, fans are just like, hey, we made a mural of you, coach. This is what we think of you.
If we would have
won, it would have been
this
great.
Picture would be a lot better. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at this picture. I'm almost certain that I drew something like this in 3rd grade, but there you go, everybody. There is the mural down on the South Side.
Bless their heart.
We'll get you his phone number if you'd like him to do some work for you.
I'm not like I couldn't do any better. That's way better than what I could have done. But
I wouldn't offer to make a big picture of Mike Tomlin. You know, what the hell was that?
God,
Derpy, I think Derpy's you're a little upset. Well, then Derpy's I think is a little. He's on his other podcast.
He's on his other podcast,
Hollywood Derpy. Derpy, I think that he's a little upset because we have been going on and on about TJ Watt and the Steeler team. And I think there's a lot of ways he's still a bit optimistic. Derpy, is anything that I've said so far on this show, have I been incorrect?
No, honestly, no. Everything you've said today is completely correct.
You know, and the thing is, you hate to hear it, but these are the things that people need to hear. I don't want to be the guy that just sits there and badmouths this team all year like the certain people in the media in Pittsburgh do. I'm not that guy. I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to give you the good one, the good, and the bad one, the bad. This, guys, we need to dig deep and figure out these things to make this team better. Otherwise, you're going to continue to get the same results year after year after year after year, because look at what they're doing and the way they're handling things has gotten us over the past, let's just say 7 to 10 years. It's literally got us the same results.
Yeah. One thing I am optimistic about is you touched on the top of the show. The offseason that we had leading up to this season was one of our better off seasons, one of our better draft classes, this might be the best free agency class from top to bottom we've had in a long ass time. Definitely like better than the Kevin Colbert era free agency class. His classes were terrible. He got lucky with Potsy with James Ferrier. After that, it was a ton of misses in free agency. This year, like Ryan said, you're 30% of your cap is 3 guys. You're not going to be able to get the top tier in free agency. So we had to get guys who were coming off of injuries, and hey, they played well, then they got hurt. And then that's what happens when all your cap space is tied up into a lot of guys, a lot of patchwork. But Omar Khan showed he was able to still find guys
And here's the
throughout
thing,
the
Mike.
season and plug and play these guys. So it's given me confidence. Like, okay, another offseason with Omar Khan and Weedle, that's going to change this team even more. What can they do with another full offseason? That's like the thing that's giving me hope.
And it's almost a case of what's going on with Pittsburgh in a sense. People don't want to get rid of their Geno. People don't want to get rid of their Tanger. People don't want to get rid of these guys. But you know what? If you want to move forward, yes, these are very good guys. These are future Hall of Famers, but they were a part of something that was big in the past.
Yeah.
You have to keep moving forward as everybody else does in the league. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the same place. And it's not the championships. It's the play. You have to continue to get better. And if you are going to get better, and as Mike said, bring guys in who are going to be more consistent, people that are going to be around for the whole season. You can't pay Cam $22.4 million.
Yeah.
The guy is getting 2 tackles a game, if that, Mike.
Yeah, if that. And not even, I know, like, in the people will come out and tell us, jump down our throats, oh, but they play their 3-4. That's not their main responsibility. Yeah, it's to eat up blockers so your linebackers can make those plays.
And
I don't remember Cam Hayward eating up 2 blockers anymore like he used to. Don't get me wrong, he used to be a damn good player. I used to love Cam Hayward, but he's not what he was anymore.
They're getting beat by rookies. These guys aren't doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, as you mentioned, eating up blockers. Think of Casey Hampton. The guy would eat up 2 blockers every single play.
Yeah.
Cam Hayward's not that guy. He's not eating up 2 blockers every play. So those things, people...
Him and Ogunjobi need to go. They have flashes, but they're not consistent. We're watching Keanu Benton. He's starting to be that guy like Casey Hampton was, to eat up blockers, but also be able to beat that double team. With
98 days, Mike. 98 days to the draft. I know you're chomping at the bit.
I am too. Can I do something real quick here about?
You're not going to do a mock draft, are you?
No, fuck no. We were talking about the playoffs and how inconsistent these guys were. Antonio Brown was the most consistent player in the playoffs. Lev Bell was the second most consistent player in the playoffs, according to, if you look at the stats in this era, and everyone said that they were the problem, but you go by their stats and the playoff runs, they were the most consistent players. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I
guess there's pros and cons to that.
There's pros and cons to that, but I saw that in my research yesterday. I want to get it out there real quick.
Speaking of statistics, Mike, it came out on PMS yesterday. JJ Watt
PMS.
JJ Watt comes out and says the PFF sucks. You know what?
It does.
It does.
What is this? What is that? What's going on?
I don't know what that was.
Derpy, was that you?
Good morning, Ralph. I think it was Derpy.
Good morning, Ralph. It's all right, Derpy. I'm not going to yell at you. Was that you?
But Derpy might have exploded.
I know. Watch there be a house explosion over there.
I hope not.
No, we're good.
All right, fix your thing. All right, there you go. All right, JJ Watt goes on to say PFF sucks, and not only because this is his brother that's getting screwed. JJ Watt is 100% right. He goes on to say a coach. You look at coaches' grades and put them next to a PFF grade. He says they're not even close. Anybody that really knows about football understands that PFF is garbage. I like to use it every once in a while as a somewhere in the ballpark reference to make certain points. But you know what? This PFF, it's as delusional as Cam Hayward is, Mike.
It is. And what it's really good for is it will break down where a player lined up. So it will tell you, like, hey, Micah Parsons lined up at D tackle, linebacker, edge. He even lined up in the slot as corner, stuff like that. That's useful. And then they have like some advanced stats in there that are useful, but their grades are very, very subjective.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. It's not. The grades are meaningless, man. They're like the points on whose line anyway. They're made up and they don't matter. They are literally made up. And PFF likes to brag like, oh, NFL teams subscribe to us. Yeah, because you like not for the grades, but for some of the metrics that you track, like where players lined up. So you could use that as scouting on opposing players. But some of the stats that they have are nice and neat, but their grades are completely meaningless. What? Because pressures. Okay, but what did the pressure lead to? What did the pressure lead to. We saw what in the Houston Texans game. Taki had that beautiful pressure on CJ Stroud, and he hits a fadeaway and hits the tight end in stride. That pressure led to nothing. It led to a first down. So their grades are meaningless, but some of their advanced stats they have can tell you some things, but they can get an overall grade because you're not sitting down there watching every single game, every single player. One, you don't know what the player's assignment is. They're doing it best on what the outcome of the play was. Well, if a corner got beat on a route and a safety comes over to help out, and the safety is the one who gets burnt for a touchdown, they give the safety a negative grade. No, it wasn't the safety's fault. It was the corner's fault. So it's all very subjective. They're trying to make it objective, but it's subjective.
Cleveland Browns love the PFF.
They love it, man.
This is good for a team like them. For a team that thinks that their team is better than what they really are, a team, fans that never really had a good team. This is who the PFF is good for. This is who the PFF is benefiting. And at the end of the day, if you followed a team like the Steelers, who's been, pretty much successful our whole lives for the most part, all things considered, people see right through this PFF. Again, we refer to it every now and then, but what it really is, I think is bullshit.
It's not very, because look, it's a joke. It is a joke.
We got 12 minutes. Mike,
TJ Watt is rated as an 80.7 in run defense.
Yeah.
Go back and watch him play run defense.
Oh, yeah. How did he get clean up to an 80?
I love TJ Watt, but don't get me wrong here.
Let me, guys, we have 12 minutes because the season-ending press conference for Mike Tomlin starts at noon. So I do want to start getting into the home stretch here. Emergency services in Kansas City rendered aid to 69 people, many for hypothermia symptoms during the Chiefs and Dolphins game. Mike, we talked about this. We talked about the guy out there who didn't have a shirt on for the whole entire 3 hours game out there in 20 below zero, which is 30. It's 30 some degrees, lower than freezing. 69 people treated for hypothermia this past insane. wild card weekend in the Chiefs Dolphins game.
That is ridiculous.
Derpy, Mike, you have your thinking caps on. We do have to get our picks in for the week. Today is pick day. We don't have as many teams, so let's blow through this, guys. Derpy, you were on a little bit of a run, if you will. I think you won 2 weeks in a row. You won the last game going into the playoffs, and then you won the first round of the playoffs. So, Mike, you have to really tighten your thinking cap up here.
I do.
Derpy, how you feeling about this week? You feeling confident?
Optimistic.
Because Derpy, he asked me as soon as I got on, he was like, are we doing picks today? So I think he's ready, Mike.
I think he is.
All right, guys. First game of the weekend is going to be on Saturday at 4:00, AFC divisional round. Houston Texans at Baltimore Ravens. Derpy, do you want Mike to pick first, or do you want to pick first?
Let Mike pick first.
Mike, I'm Houston ready. Texans or the Baltimore Ravens?
I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think both quarterbacks are going to put on a show, but Lamar has just been playing lights out this year. He's taking this game to a completely different level. I think this is the year he makes a deep playoff run.
Derpy, the Houston Texans or Baltimore Ravens?
This is where the streak ends for CJ Stroud. I'm going with the Ravens.
All right.
I'll charge it.
Good enough. Next game, guys. The Green Bay Packers. This is at 8:15 on Saturday. NFC divisional round. Green Bay Packers at San Francisco 49ers. Mike, who do you think wins this game?
I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. Even though there is a stat out there that says teams that have lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season have not gone on to win a Super Bowl, and San Fran did lose to Kirk Cousins, I think that streak is snapped. Give me the San Francisco 49ers.
Derpy, Packers at 49ers. I for one think this is going to be a blowout. I think that San Fran is just too good. I think that San Fran comes out and they hit off on all cylinders with that defense, with them linebackers on offense, with their skilled players. I think that this game's a blowout. I think people are giving the Packers way too much credit. Again, people got to remember this Packers team is a team that the Steelers beat during the season. Derpy, Packers at 49ers.
49ers. The 49ers have too much firepower.
I couldn't agree more.
Both sides of the ball.
On the Sunday games, guys, 3:00, another NFC divisional round game. The Buccaneers at the Lions. Very, very interesting game, I think, for a lot of reasons. Mike, Buccaneers at the Lions.
Well, the Buccaneers, they've been practicing to acclimate themselves to the weather. I don't know if anyone
For the dome.
Yeah, a reporter asked the coach that. He said, "Oh, they play in a dome."
So this team. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take the Lions. I think the Lions are just a much better team.
I'm not gonna take the team who thought they have to acclimate to the weather. But
no, that was the reporter asked.
But you know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
No, come on. I don't want that team.
The coach is like, they're playing a dome. But no, give me the Lions. I think they're gonna steamroll them.
Derpy, Buccaneers at Lions.
This may surprise you, but I'm taking the Buccaneers.
All right.
I like it
because the fans of the Lions acted like they just won the Super Bowl.
This is true.
Wait, is it because it's a Detroit, Michigan, the Ohio State, the whole? Is this the reason you're okay? No. All right, stop yelling at me. In the last game, guys, is the 6:30 game on Sunday, the AFC divisional round game. The Chiefs at the Bills. Obviously, this one is put on as the finale for the weekend for a reason. A lot of storylines, Swifties. Come on, these two guys have played each other a bunch of times. This time in Buffalo. Mike, this one is going to be the one that gets a lot of the ratings.
Yeah.
Mike, Chiefs or Bills? It's in Buffalo this time.
I'm going to go with Buffalo. The league is doing everything they can to help Josh Allen and the Bills out, moving games, delaying games. So, yeah, give me the Buffalo Bills with a little help from the refs, like George Pickens said.
Well, in the Bills' defense, Mike, do you think that they really needed help from the refs from the game that we played? Okay, just making just making clear. Derpy, over to you. Last game, 6:30 Sunday, Western New York. Kansas City Chiefs at Buffalo Bills. Mike takes Buffalo in this game. Who do you think is going to win?
Give me the Golden Boy.
You're going with the Chiefs.
Yep.
Which is interesting. So as of now, we didn't have to do a tiebreaker because it was just the one game, which meant it would have played itself out. So there's two games, so there still is a chance to tie. Guys, we are going to take the high rating game, the game at the end of the weekend, the game that we have to wait to get the tiebreaker from. Derpy, Mike, it's going to be a good one. You got two offenses that could do a lot of scoring with these quarterbacks. This is the game. I need scores for what you think the final of this game is going to be. That's going to determine your tiebreaker in case we do run into that problem. I'm going to start with you, Mike. What is going to be the score for the Chiefs Buffalo Bills football game?
Give me Kansas City 27, Buffalo 35.
All right, very good. Derpy, what do you think that the final score is going to be for Kansas City at Buffalo? Mike has 62 points. 35-27 Buffalo is his pick.
33-27.
33-27, and that's in favor of Kansas City, correct?
Right.
And that's for a total of 60 points. So there you go. Our tiebreakers are in stone. We will put this away until Monday morning now and get back and see how we did. Derpy, you were on a two-game winning streak, a 2-week winning streak, if you will. Good luck to everybody involved. Here we go. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumb-yinzers.com. Head over there. All of our social links are over there. The merch store is over there. Link to the blog is all over there. All at the2dumb-yinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool stuff over there. It's a really cool website that Mike put together, and we were very proud of. That is www.the2dumbyinzers.com. A lot of cool stuff. Let's get into this. I do have a few things I do want to say as we wrap up. So let's get into this trivia. Guys, this is a general Steeler NFL trivia. This has nothing to do with any particular team. That being said, here we go. Derpy, Mike, on the board, if you'd like.
Yep.
Which team drafted Gary Anderson in the 7th round of the 1982 draft, guys? I'm looking for the team that drafted kicker Gary Anderson in the 7th round of the 1982 draft. Take a minute to think that over. We are live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And if you missed the show or you would just rather listen to the show, we do upload it over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. every day. The brand new show in podcast form. If you'd rather listen to it, maybe you can't watch. Maybe you're in the car, the gym, taking a walk, put your earbuds in and you can listen to it over on Spotify. Check it out. The question of the day, guys, this is our daily trivia. Which team drafted kicker Gary Anderson in the 7th round of the 1982 draft? Either one of you guys want choices?
I need choices.
Derpy?
As do I.
Here we go. Your choices are A, the Steelers, B, the Eagles, C, the 49ers, D, the Buffalo Bills. I'm looking for the team that drafted Gary Anderson in the 7th round of the 1982 draft. Steelers, Eagles, Niners, Bills. Mike, who do you think?
I'm going to go with the Bills.
The Bills. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Let me lock you in.
I'll be right there. I'll be right there.
All right. You are locked in. Derpy, over to you. Which team drafted kicker Gary Anderson, longtime Steeler, ultimately became the all-time leading scorer in the NFL in the 7th round of the 1982 draft? Steelers, Eagles, Niners, Bills. Mike says the Buffalo Bills. Who do you think?
I'm going to go with the Bills as well.
The Bills as well. Is this your final answer?
Yes.
All right. Lock Derpy into place. All right. Take my word. He's locked into place. There you go. Which team drafted Gary Anderson in the 7th round of the 1982 draft? Steelers, Eagles, Niners, Bills. Both of the guys said the Bills. The answer, of course, was the Buffalo Bills. He never played a single game for Buffalo, but he was drafted, and he played for the Steelers, scored a lot of points. Again, he went to Minnesota. He went to the Niners at one point. A handful of teams he did go to after he left here, but yes, he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
I just took a stab in the dark on that one.
I do want to give some plugs out, I do want to give some plugs out, guys. A couple of the guys that are here with us today on the board. I do produce their shows over at the radio station. That's WBVP 99.3 FM, 1230 AM, Beaver County Radio. You could always check them out on Facebook, YouTube, on the website, and also there is an app for the radio station as well. Download the app, WBVPradio.com, or WBVP Radio. I want to first give the shout out for the Tuesday show, Ralph Williams, Sports Corner with Ralph Williams, every Tuesday at the radio station from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. He does a sports show called the Sports Corner. Ralph Williams, good stuff. Him and Smoking Jim Frazier have guests on frequently, and you could always call in and participate in conversation with these guys. I hope that you would. And then on Wednesday from 5 to 6 is One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Both of these gentlemen, again, are on the board today. His show is, once again, from 5 to 6 on Wednesday. His show is great, brand new, a lot of cool stuff, guys. And you could always call his show as well and talk to Brian, ask questions, debate, whatever you want to do. Give these guys a ring.
Wow, check them out.
Check them out. They really help us out. They give us plugs on their shows. And as I said, I'm very involved with these shows. I think it'd be really awesome if you check these guys out. You won't be disappointed. Mike, do you have anything before we get ready to take off?
I was checking Twitter to see if there's any late breaking news. Apparently, LeBron James has played against 35%
Mike,
of all
you're
NBA
a dick,
players.
and I'm going to tell you why you're a dick, because that's the exact thing that I was going to say. That was my closing fact.
I saw that. I'm like, that is amazing.
What a dick you are. That I don't even know what's the chances that would have been your thing.
Oh God, I just saw that. I'm like, is there anything good? You got the PFF nerds telling JJ Watt he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I saw that LeBron James one. Like, that is amazing. I'm sorry, man.
LeBron James has played 35% of the total number of NBA players that's ever played in the NBA. That's how long
He's been playing for.
He's been around. That's how long he's been playing in the NBA. He's played 35%. I seen this last night. That was going to be my home run to walk off the air today. And this dick here, he comes up with the same exact fact. So
this is how you know we've been working together.
I know.
Long.
I'm ready to kill you. Derpy,
sorry, bro.
Derpy, please have something different to say.
Here we go, Pens.
All right, there you go. Saturday night, Pens are back in action against Las Vegas Golden Knights. I'm sorry. We do want to say to everybody, thank you for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We couldn't do it without you. We especially also appreciate everybody on the board. You guys always make it really interesting for us here on the show. Guys, speak now, forever hold your peace. We got to hit this Mike Tomlin press conference. What do you got?
I'm ready for the Coach T, baby.
All right, guys, this is his season-ending press conference. Derpy, anything else, brother?
I got nothing.
All right, there you go. Everybody, we thank everybody for checking us out. We will be back tomorrow, same time, do it all over again. For Mike at the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, Derpy, myself, the two dumb Yinzers, have